Hello, high school hockey fans. It's another edition of This Week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey, the Thursday night edition from Madison. Got both Bill and Bill Jr. here and Trasher here, and we had to sit through 4 games today. And didn't seem like they were really that long of a day. I mean, we've had longer Thursdays, but I don't know if it's a matter of games starting earlier or what, but...
Well, nobody went to overtime. That helps.
Well, that's true.
In fact, there was quite a bit of running time early on also, which helped.
Okay.
Yeah, but I agree with MJ. It did seem like it was a shorter day, even though it actually was not. But we'll get right to it.
Fond du Lac Springs and Rice Lake played the first boys' game of the day, and Fondy Springs was an easy winner over Rice Lake, 7-2. And guys, it pretty much was what we expected out of Fondy Springs. They just were just the better team by far.
Well, I don't know that they were. Yes, they were the better team, but for me, it really came down to Brady Welsh and Noah Pickert. And you hate for a team that's been as good as Fondy Springs has been all season to come down to 2 players, but they started or finished 5 of their 7 goals, and it was obvious on the ice. Like, Rice Lake had no answer for Brady Welsh at all. If he had the puck, he could go where he wanted with it when he wanted, and that's pretty much what happened. Their first 2 goals by Brady Welsh and Dane Dinovich were beautiful shots in the top corner of the net that no goalie in the state was going to stop. Pickert made some beautiful moves on the blue line, getting open in space. Yeah, those 2 players, Welsh and Pickert, there was no answer for them. And like I said, they started or finished 5 of the 7 goals.
Burglar back in the day, would Bob Berg have had those?
Pass.
Maybe. This is the 3rd time that I've seen Fondy Springs play this year, and I am very impressed by a couple of things. Their speed and their passing. They seem to do a lot of tape-to-tape. They don't make any crazy passes. They really don't miss on a lot of attempts that they take. And I think the fact that they had the speed and they had the passing ability, plus guys like Welsh and Pickard and Connor McLaughlin, 3 pretty good players right there. And they just, like Junior said, Rice Lake really had no answer.
They got out of the chute quick. I have down here, they with 5 minutes left in the first period, the shots were 8-1 Fondy Springs, and they finished the first period leading in shots 10-1. Fondy Springs, I thought speed and puck movement were very good. Defensively, when Rice Lake was able to get it out, it seemed that Fondy had everything covered. But Rice Lake really wasn't a physical team. They looked like they didn't have a lot of battle. They wanted to battle much along the walls, and
Well, they were kind of timid.
like maybe that's what I was looking.
Yeah, the shots. The first period, the WIA had it as 12-1. Second period, they were actually even up at 7. Rice Lake actually did look a lot better in the second period in terms of overall play, but Fondy still put 2 more goals in the second period on top of what they had in the first. So by the end of 2, it was 4-1.
I thought Rice Lake's goalie played pretty good early in the game. I mean, he was really peppered. But to get out of the first period only down 2-0, I thought that was kind of a little bit of a win for Rice Lake, and they come back in the second, and just Springs just takes it to them before Fondy can. Before Rice Lake can get one late in the second.
I don't think it was any great surprise that Springs had their success. I mean, they've had success all year. Basically, have been number 1 in Division II for the whole season, and definitely proved that with their 7-2 win.
I thought Rice Lake looked a little bit. You're right. They played better in the second period, but their breakouts they just didn't seem comfortable in their breakouts. Their passes weren't crisp. It just didn't seem like their breakout was in sync today, and forwards battling to get past the defense. How many times did you just see the forwards get the puck, they get up to the defense and just shoot it there? And without even kind of taking some kind of move or, try to deke the guy and get around and get a more of a quality shot. You didn't see that out of Rice Lake.
No, and I think they, defensively, Fond du Lac Springs is a pretty good team. Maybe that's McLaughlin and Pickard are two of the best defensemen in the state, and definitely proved it. And maybe sometimes the opponents read the press clippings. I don't know. Maybe it's got something to do with it. They thought, well, we're not going to be able to get around them, so.
Rice Lake had the really, really tough draw in this game. They just didn't match up.
Well,
with
anybody.
Springs.
Springs and Pines have been 1 and 2 all season long. Nobody else has even got a vote for one of those 2 spots. So I don't think either draw would have been any more favorable to the other 2 teams coming into state.
No, the only thing was you didn't want to have Northland Pines and Fond du Lac Springs meet in the first game. They had to be the championship, but and remember that D1 and D2, that's strictly for state tournament purposes only. Both of these teams, Rice Lake and Fond du Lac, play in conferences that are mostly teams that are in Division I. And, the difference between them is that Fond du Lac Springs won their conference, that has the public school Fond du Lac, that has Nina Horton, Vilma-Nash, and then, that's
Badgerland Conference.
The Badgerland
Yeah, that's
Conference.
a
They
pretty
won
good
that.
conference.
Rice Lake plays in a conference, that has, Hudson and the 2 Eau Claire schools and Chippewa Falls, and they didn't win that conference.
Second game saw Northland Pines, mentioning them, taking on Somerset. Pines gets out a couple quick goals, gets up 2-0. Somerset comes back in the period, and with 10:35 left in the period, they're able to score. Pines just moved the puck well. They reminded me a lot of what Springs did. And Somerset, I thought their compete level in the first period was very good for a team that was probably coming in as a heavy underdog. Mm-hmm. I thought their compete.
I think the first period of that game was the most fun period of the day for boys or girls. The first period of the Somerset Pines game. Shots were fairly even, 14-10. It was 2-1 after the period. The goal Somerset scored in that period was beautiful. A Pines defenseman pinched up on Antonio Gomez, who just flipped the puck up and over him to Bodie Smith, who raced in on a breakaway. Brett Wilkins stopped the breakaway. The rebound came out. Gomez didn't watch Smith go in like so many players did. He followed him, picked up the rebound, put it in the net. It was a beautiful goal. That first period was great. Second period, Pines scored 3 power play goals. When you're the underdog down in Madison, you can't take penalties. Especially Pines. Pines was 37% in the regular season and 42% in the playoffs. You can't give them power plays at all. That team is fast and they love playing offense. They don't love playing defense so much. They love playing offense. You can't give them power plays.
No, I mean, from what I was watching, I saw 2 things on the power play. They were very accurate on their passing, and they were very patient. They were waiting for that shot. They weren't just going to blast the shot and get it blocked or into the glove. They were waiting for the shot that would give them a high opportunity to score.
Yeah, I actually, in our little booth, yelled at Rock County during their girls' game because they had a 4-on-3 at one point, and they took a shot that you cannot take that shot on the power play. Pines would never have taken that shot. They would set up a good one on the power play, and they did. And they're just killing teams on the power play through this whole playoffs.
Yeah.
And that burned them in that second period. All of a sudden, shots were 14 and 10 in the first period. All of a sudden, they're 12-6 in the second, and Pine gets 3 power play goals.
Somerset in the first period had a 5-minute power play,
They did.
and they weren't able to convert on that.
They weren't.
They didn't even get many shots.
No,
No.
they didn't.
They not at all.
Junior, I'm going to give you credit for first intermission. We were talking about this game. You said just watching the second period, Pines is going to really get out and take it to them. And, you're absolutely right. Somerset just took too many penalties. They couldn't get out of their own zone clean. They couldn't keep their first period momentum. They couldn't keep it in the second period.
When you're an underdog, you can't take penalties. It's just the way it is. It happened to Onalaska a few years ago. They came into the tournament as an underdog, took penalties, lost a game. It happened to. It's happened to many teams that have come to Madison like that first time. They take penalties, they lose a game. West Salem did it. You just can't do it. You got to stay out of the box because the other team is better than you, and if you want to beat them, you can. You can beat them, but you can't do it by playing from behind.
You got to play 5-on-5.
Right, and besides that, Somerset's not as deep a team, and when you're spending that much time in the penalty box, you generally have the same penalty killers out on the ice, so it just screws up your lines. You got the same guys killing penalties over and over again, and you can see, they didn't keep the momentum from the first period. I think they just kind of ran out of gas, and then in the third period got a little frustrated and started doing some stupid shit. But yeah, they kind of just took themselves out of the game in that second period.
Pines, when they're on the power play, their thing is they like to take the zone with speed, and they were able to do that a lot in that second period.
Well, they like to do that in full strength, 4-on-4.
Right.
They do everything with speed.
They don't. Whatever they're going to do it as fast as they can.
And I noticed also they won a lot of battles low in the zone. They were able to keep momentum, keep the pressure on, keep the other team far away from the goal. Mm-hmm. But they won a lot of battles down low, and I thought that was pretty key for them. Third period, they go on. Pines tacks on one more, and Somerset gets one of the 5 minutes left in the game. And unfortunately, Somerset's probably going to be remembered for the last minute of the game, for the total meltdown that happened.
Yeah, there was a checking from behind that they got, and then a retaliation that escalated to it.
Frustration coming out.
Yeah, frustration coming out. And yeah, those two guys making boneheaded plays in the last minute of the game is probably going to be what most people remember from today, but that's not really, I don't know, that's not really, it's fair, it happened, but it's tough because what I'm going to remember from today is that first period, because that was a great period of hockey. It was the best period we saw all day.
And one thing Bill said about St. Mary Springs, relying so much on Welsh and Pickert. Northland Pines is deep with their talent. I mean, they got significant contributions from Riley McGee, Harmon Marine, Gunnar Schiffman, Zach Millette, Max Brown.
How many points did Riley McGee have today?
Brady Snedden, and even the freshman.
Hunter
Bill. Yeah, I mean, they're deep with their talent.
I think that's the big difference looking at not tomorrow, because it's not tomorrow, Saturday, between Pines and Springs, is that I think Springs has a higher ceiling and Pines has a higher floor. I think second line, third line on Pines are better than on Springs. Springs' first line is better than Pines. So, that's what you're going to be seeing. And they played once already this year. Springs won that game. I think it was a 3-goal margin. Pines has some very good players. Brady Snedden is one of our Pavelski finalists. Brady Welsh for Springs is one of our Pavelski finalists. Welsh has a lot more points on the season than Snedden does. And it's not because he played a cupcake schedule. Springs played the hardest schedule in D2.
Well, yeah, Northland Pines, played in the Great Northern Conference where they just kind of stepped on everybody. So they had several opportunities to pile up points in those games.
Yeah, so I think the ceiling for Springs is higher, but the floor for Pines is higher. So that makes for an interesting game because they're both very good. Obviously, the class of Division II, they have been 1 and 2 all season. So I think that sets up, for the first time in Wisconsin prep hockey history, our preseason 1 and 2 are the two people going to play on in the championship game. Mm-hmm. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
See, we know something every once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
even a blind pig, yes.
To be fair,
Blind squirrel can find a nut.
To be fair, and there was a lot of comments, because I do the social media during the games. There was a lot of comments, talking against D2 hockey because of the margins we saw today. First off, Pines and Springs aren't always this good. There are years that Pines could have challenged to go to state, and there are years that they couldn't. And even when they can 444 student Northland Pines hasn't been to state since 2004. So,
Really, it's been that long.
yes,
Right.
because it's tough. 444 students. Pines isn't always this good. Springs isn't always this good. So in the future, I don't think we'll see D2 margins like that. But it's not like we've never seen 5 and 7 goal margins of victory
Right.
before. But 2 years ago, Hudson won the state championship game 7-1 in a seeded tournament.
Yeah. Well, look at what happened with Somerset. I mean, who did they beat? Hayward, right? No, they beat.
No, Rice Lake
Menominee.
beat Hayward.
Okay, so I mean, in a normal world, let's say, you would have looked at the rankings and you would have said Hayward's probably going to be down there, and
Well, Hayward was a 2, but Amory was the 1.
yeah. I mean, either one of those teams, and maybe the fact that the 1 and 2s didn't make it through for whatever reason, they just got beat by a better team on that particular day. Maybe
Well, I think
has
that's
something to
that's
do
something
with
you're going to
the
see.
margin.
You're going to see more of as Division II year after year. This is a 2-year experiment. If it continues beyond that, I think you're going to see more 1 and 2 seeds in D2 lose than we're used to seeing, because there's a reason sports split up the big schools and the small schools. It's because you have a smaller talent pool to draw from, so you have less deep teams. If your team's not as deep, it's not going to be as consistent. So we're going to see more down bracket teams from D2 make it into the state tournament. Now, on the side effect, since there are fewer small schools in the other side on the D1 bracket, we might see more upsets on D1 as well, because the brackets are more condensed and tougher, like we saw the bracket of death, where we had 4 of last year's state tournament teams in one bracket. So it's going to make for an interesting couple of years.
The third seeded team came out of that one.
Yeah, Chippewa Falls was the 3rd seed. So, this new format, I think, is going to lead to more upsets overall, which I think is a good thing.
Folks, Webb Jr., the best high school hockey analyst at this table.
He's got a pretty good idea of what's going on. I give Junior a
he's
lot
all
of
right,
credit.
yeah. Good job.
Give him a
Move
lot
on
of
to
credit.
the girls.
Move on to the girls. Sarak County Fury taking on the Metro Lynx out of Madison.
Okay, and I'll start out by saying the first 2 games didn't really surprise us. Maybe the margin of victory was a little bit over the top. But this first girls game surprised a lot of us.
Yeah, the Metro Lynx got out to a 3-0 start. Very opportunistic in the first period. Fury had to be better in their own zone, but they didn't get a good start in goal. Metro Lynx goalie played great in the first period. In fact, she played great in the whole game.
Freshman Addie Armstrong.
Yeah, she went through one period, and it was 3-0. And the Hanson sisters, Green County line, whatever you want to call them, kept them off the scoreboard in the first period. And the Metro Lynx were off and running.
Well, in my analysis on the girls' state hockey preview, I said whoever wins this game is going to be the one that keeps the other team's top scorers off the board, and that was Metro Lynx.
And this is just a baffling game, because they kind of flipped the script over what they had done for the 2 previous times they played the season. The Lynx, they only took 19 shots. They took 30-plus and 40-plus in their 2 previous meetings with the Fury. They only took 19 shots, and somehow they managed to outscore either of their 2 previous games. They got 4 in one and 2 in the other. They're just fewer shots, but I guess they made them count. And then the Fury put up more shots than they did in either of those other games. They actually looked better than I expected them to going in, because they've played a lot of games recently where they were greatly outshot, and Olivia Cronin kept them in the game. Even their sectional game against USM, it was really, if you just look at the stat line, she was fantastic.
1-0, yeah.
Yeah, it was 1-0 game, and she was fantastic.
Yeah.
But I did not see them coming in here taking on the Metro Lynx and putting up 30 shots, and yet still they lost 5-2.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw the Fury play a couple times earlier in the year, and both games Olivia Cronin was amazing. And, for whatever reason today, she just didn't have that same game that she had in the past that I had seen. And she just looked like
She didn't look sharp.
she wasn't herself. I mean, for whatever reason, the kid is only a sophomore. She had a great season. She played very well down the stretch. Today was just not her day.
You're going to hear more about Olivia Cronin in the next couple seasons. But in this game, Alyssa Knopf scores with 6 minutes left in the second period. So it's a 3-1 game. The Fury battle, and all of a sudden Metro Lynx keep it, and they're down in their end for a while. And Metro Lynx get a goal with 23 seconds left in the second period. And I thought that was a backbreaker.
Momentum killer.
Yeah. Metro Lynx.
You never want to give up a goal in the first or last minute of the
Absolutely.
period.
Metro Lynx in the second period, a lot of bend, but no break in their own zone. But Fury, they kept going. One of the things I thought was key is they didn't have a lot of grit. They didn't get a lot of bodies to the net, willing to outwork somebody down low. And the one time they did get somebody to the net, which was Alyssa Knopf, they scored. But it just didn't seem like they got enough bodies to the net to make life a little bit difficult.
Yeah, 2 goals is not enough to beat the Metro Lynx. I'm looking at their season schedule this year. 2 goals is enough to beat them 3 times in all the 24 regular season games, 3 playoff games, or 2 playoff games, 3 playoff games, whatever they played this year. 2 goals was enough to beat them 3 times on the year. That's not enough. 30 shots, you got to put in more than 2 goals if you want to beat a team like this.
It had so much to do with the goaltender, though, for the Metro Lynx. She played well. Fury scored late in the third to make it a 4-2 game, but the Metro Lynx come back and they get that one to make it a 5-2 game. Metro Lynx, I thought, defensively they played very well. As you heard Mike McCursey say on our interview, tried to take time and space away. I thought they did a very good job of that. Synopsis on the Fury in this game, they gave up a couple soft goals, got nothing from their second line, and being down 3-0, they chased the game the whole time. They never got it tied, they never got a lead, and couldn't play their hockey, and that's why the Metro Lynx are moving on.
Well, I think we talked about this too, is that, and it goes back to talk to Junior's high ceiling, high floor. Metro Lynx probably have the higher floor, a little bit deeper, and the Rock County Fury's first line, 3-4-5, Knopf, Einbeck, is probably arguably as good as anybody's in the state. But behind that, they didn't have quite enough horsepower to get past the Lynx.
You're looking at 3 girls that are Team Wisconsin players on a first line.
Yeah, it's an awesome line.
It's a lot of
offense. They
offense.
played very well tonight, but just wasn't quite enough.
They couldn't get enough scoring out of them, and every once in a while that second line's got to throw something in, and they weren't able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, this was a game between 2 really strong teams that had a lot of success this year,
and they're familiar with each other.
And it was almost like you had to flip a coin to pick a winner. I honestly, before the game, had no clue which way it was going to go. But the Lynx got off to that great start, and then it was kind of uphill for the Fury after that.
Our last girls' game of the day had Hudson taking on the Fox City Stars, and Fox City Stars were able to get that 4-2 win. Empty net goal late. And guys, I give Hudson a lot of credit. Man, they put everything into that third period.
Well, Bill said that the first period of the Pines Somerset was the best period. This was the best. This Hudson Fox City's game was the best game of the day.
Yes,
Well, by far.
Yes, it was a tight game. It was a well paced game, evenly played game. Excitement, went down to the wire.
we got to see a 6-on-4.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the best official in that game.
Yes.
And they had a penalty shot.
And then a penalty shot.
Yeah.
The thing that it's maybe not beyond the ice in this game was the way that they had to stop this game because of the technical problems. I mean, yeah, you're kind of giving the kids a timeout But another way that if you're a team and you got momentum,
Well, let's explain what we're talking about first.
well, go ahead.
With about
5 minutes.
4 minutes. About 4 minutes left.
4 or 5 minutes.
The clock turned off.
Yeah.
The scoreboard disappeared, and the side clocks
and
turned
there
off.
was a penalty during that time.
Yes, there was a
Well,
penalty.
it didn't turn off, it just froze.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
it froze at first
froze.
and then it shut off.
Yes.
So yeah, there was no visible clock during a power play. So like everybody's shouting clock, and then the PA guy comes on and says, "We have 2 backups here. We know the clock's not working." And then they start counting down live. We're at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, 3 minutes and 20. They counted down until the penalty ended.
And
Then the girl came out of the box, and then they stopped counting down. So we had no idea how much time was going by or what was happening.
Till it got to about, I think it
was
was
about
a minute 58 that
Minute
popped
50,
back up on the
well,
clock.
no, there's a
There was a whistle.
There was a whistle. I mean, so he announced that there's a minute 58 left. It's like,
Yeah.
last time we heard it was like 3.5.
Yeah.
There's been nothing since.
So
then.
there was a whistle. They announced that there was a minute 58 left, and then I don't know if the tournament people just told them to stop or if the refs decided to figure this out. But they took a couple minutes and got the clock working again.
No, actually, there wasn't a stoppage caused by, I think, the Raiders called timeout.
Did they?
They called a timeout during
yeah.
that time.
Did they actually announce that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
I don't
Well, I don't know if they
really-
announced it, but the official,
He signaled time
No,
out.
I believe they did say timeout Raiders.
okay,
But
but, I
how-
mean, Hudson called timeout.
How much of a
So that really
distraction-
didn't. I mean, that so the malfunction didn't really disrupt play. I mean, it was an inconvenience, but I mean that didn't stop things and kill any momentum. That was a timeout taken by Hudson.
Okay, they had a
No, but I mean, you're thinking about this in your mind because you're going, how much time is left? Whereas you look at the clock, but now all of a sudden there's nothing on the clock. Does that cause havoc amongst the teams, especially the one that's behind?
I think
The
I think it's a
only-
concentration thing then.
I don't think so.
The coaches look at the clock. The players on the bench may look at the clock.
And the goalie.
players on the ice, they're looking at the clock.
The
They're-
only,
they're
in
playing.
my experience, the only player on the ice who's paying any attention to the clock is the goalie, and that's usually when you're ahead in a short game, just hoping that it goes faster. That's my experience. This game followed kind of the same script as the sectional final I watched between Hudson and Eau Claire area. Hudson was outshot in the first period. This game 12-7. They pretty much evened it up in the second period. In the third period, they really took it to Fox Cities 13-3 for shots in the third period. That's basically the same pattern they played against Eau Claire area. Whatever they were doing in the first period in that game did not work. Second period, they evened it up. Third period, they really took it to them. But in this one, Fox Cities was able to hang on.
They emptied the tank in the third period. Hudson really did. They put a lot into it. They got some power play opportunities, and unfortunately,
Yeah, Leah
it was
Parker
6
was dragging.
She was
at the
fantastic.
third period. She was, she. What we briefly mentioned the penalty shot. She had gotten behind the Fox Cities defenders very late in the first period and got tripped from behind. So they gave her a penalty shot, and
She
she
scored.
converted. Put a little deke in a backhand and slid the puck underneath.
and had a nice little
converted that.
celebration with it.
Yep. And then she got behind the defense. She got behind the defense again in the second period. This time they didn't trip her. She just went in and put a different move.
That one-
on the
that one
goal
was shorthanded.
and scored again. That was, yep. Yeah.
all 4'11" of her, yes, exactly.
She is not
A
tall.
petite player, but a giant.
It says
on the ice
4'11" on her roster sheet. I'm pretty sure that's what skates on. She is. I mean, one of the things you have to get used to when you watch girls hockey is that they're not very tall, even compared to the other girls on the ice. She is very small, but she's fast.
Boy, is she competitive.
Yeah, she's a nice player.
So Hudson falls to Fox City Stars in that game, 4-2, and probably the most entertaining game of the day.
Yeah, like I said, they had a 6-on-4 at the end of the game. Pulled goalie for the sixth attacker. Fox Cities had an elbowing penalty at 15:30. So for the last minute and a half, it was 6. Well, until they scored the empty netter, it was 6-on-4 for Hudson, and they had some chances. They hit a pipe.
Yeah.
They had another chance. I didn't see what happened, but there was a lot of oohs from the crowd on that one.
Yeah.
Shortly before the pipe. So we were literally 45 seconds away from overtime.
Ella Saborski, freshman for Fox Cities, did a heck of a job. And what's really interesting to me, being a goalie dad, is that our championship game tomorrow is going to have 2 freshman goalie. Well, it's possible that Armstrong might not start.
You're falling into the same trap as everybody else.
Yeah.
The championship game is on Saturday.
I'm sorry.
Today's only Thursday.
And
And
if you want to go deeper, Fond du Lac
McCursey
Springs,
might play,
Fond du
so-
Lac Springs, Hayden Rising is also a freshman.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. Yeah.
So 3 of the 4 teams that won today had freshman goalies.
Remember this Fondy Springs team was here 2 years ago?
Yes.
Came in as freshmen and didn't look too bad. And now they're juniors and look how good they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we knew they were good back then, and now as being juniors, you know, they're progressing pretty doggone nice.
Well, we looked when we were covering the Badgerland Conference tournament 2 years ago when Fondy Spring, when these guys were freshmen, and we were noticing all of the state championship banners on the Fond du Lac rink for the Fond du Lac youth program, their state championship, and it was like this one group, you know. Pee Wee champion, Bantam champion. You know, it's like, okay, these are the freshmen now, and you know, so which school do they go to? Well, it seems like they go to Springs.
Well, Fondy had a pretty good year this year too, but yeah,
Huh?
Fondy had a pretty good year this year too.
It did, yep, absolutely. We might be remiss to mention here that Metrolinx, Coach Mike McCursey has kind of been alternating his goaltenders, so it's very possible that on Saturday at 12 noon, we might see Cam McCursey play in net versus Addie Armstrong. But McCursey is a sophomore. So, I mean, you got all of these young goalies who are having success for these very nice teams. You know,
Yeah, how do you?
When this game ended, there was nobody who was happier.
35
than
was
that
right
goalie.
out there.
I mean,
to
well, the other, you know,
congratulate her.
the teammates
Yeah,
come
yeah.
to. But I mean, she's just standing in that crease. She's just jumping up and down. I mean, just like, oh, we just jumping up and down.
How does that work at home? You know, Cam McCursey got more minutes than Eddie Armstrong did this year, 600 something to 400 something. Put up a 925 save percentage to 1.69 GAA. You know, if she doesn't start tomorrow, what point does she just look at her dad and be like, "What the hell,
Saturday.
man?" Yeah, Saturday. What does she look at her dad like? What do I got to do? It's 925 and a 1.69 GAA. Where's my game?
Well, I mean, so we talked with Curse after the game.
Or at this point, does she just say, "Mom, little help here"?
Yeah, or does she go?
Oh, the problem is Mom's gone on Saturday.
Yeah, or does she say, "I understand. Let's go with a hot hand"? I mean,
Or, you know,
It
it's
depends.
quite possible she's a good teammate and she's willing to, you know.
yeah, and I got that impression because I mean we talked about this before the game. It's like who's gonna start, and then they were both out there, and to me it looked like 35 was gonna start, and then all of a sudden the two goalies hugged and said, "Hey, okay, you know," and then all of a sudden 35 skates off. I'm like, well,
Yeah, when I was scoring the game on our site, I saw that 35 was alone in the net
Yeah.
after introductions. I'm like, all right, I checked her off as the starter, and it wasn't until like 2.5 minutes into the game I'm like, oh crap, that's the other one. And I had to go
Yeah,
change it.
Exactly. So I get this impression that those two are the biggest fans of each other. It doesn't matter who plays. They're both very talented. They're both very young. And Curse is going to put the goalie in there that he thinks needs to be in there. And if it's Cam, fine. If it's Addie, fine. And the other one is going to be rooting for their teammate 100%. So should be either way. It's a good call for them. I think a good game, couple of young netminders are going to be in there no matter what. Fox City's wanting to defend their state title from last year. They've been playing pretty well lately, so this will be a good game. I mean, it'll be like the boys' D2 game. They're both going to be really good games.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to have 2 really good games on Saturday.
Looking here at this Metro Links.
Finally got it right.
Looking here at this Metro Links roster, there's a lot of 10s in that roster.
Yeah.
A lot
and
of
there's
10s.
there's a lot of people.
A lot of people too.
Yeah, they're the only team that seems to have submitted their entire full roster to the WIAA for inclusion in the tournament book
Curse
instead
was-
of just their playoff roster.
Yeah, Curse
But
was
yet-
very exuberant about that.
But yet the Fury dressed 4 goalies today.
Yeah.
They played.
Yeah.
They dressed everybody.
Yeah.
You're only allowed to have so many people on the bench, so to dress 4 goalies,
They are a small team this year.
Yeah.
to dress 4 goalies, that means you've only got
Like
17 skaters.
yeah.
Sounds
I
about
can't
right.
remember what that number is, but should it? I mean,
I think it's 20 with 2 goalies and 21 with 3.
I think so.
Tomorrow, go ahead.
Oh, Saturday.
Saturday.
No,
Saturday.
tomorrow.
Oh, well, let's
We
talk
already-
about
we already
Saturday
talked-
first.
We covered tomorrow on Monday.
Where
Wow, that was a lot of time.
Well, that's a lot of time.
we might,
I don't even remember what happened a half hour ago.
We might revamp that.
Yes,
But-
we covered D1 on Monday, so we're not going to preview D1 today.
Right, because we did that already.
Saturday.
Okay,
Sat-
fine.
Yeah, Saturday. We're gonna have 2 good games for sure.
Make a pick.
And we've already, we kind of hinted at the Pines and Springs, high ceiling, low floor.
High ceiling, high floor.
High ceiling, high floor. Biggest difference between the 2 teams right now is that I think we can all expect Springs to be back here next year, as the bulk of their talent is juniors. This, for Northland Pines, this is a team they have been building and waiting for. As it is with a lot of the small schools, you get a group that comes along and they have success at every level, and so you wait till they get to the high school level, and this is the culmination of that effort.
Which
for
is a
Northland
lot
Pines.
of high school hockey in
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
This is the culmination of that for Northland Pines. The bulk of their leadership and their team are seniors this year. So this is their shot. So is that going to give them more motivation than Springs will have for tomorrow? That with senior. Damn it!
It
sounded so good until you screwed it up.
Until then, man, it's like
Let's do a take 2 on this one, huh? When is it gonna be, Bill?
Yeah, is this going to give them a little more fight? Like this is our last shot.
sense of
We've got to
urgency.
do it. Yes.
I mean, it could. It could. It just we don't know what's in their heads. It could very easily, or Fondy Springs could say, "We're juniors, we're this successful, we're going to kick ass." It could work either way.
Yeah, we don't need to, respect you old guys.
The funny,
Yeah,
the
you've
funny-
had your time. Get out of here.
the funny thing is you also look at this Fondy Springs roster, and you watch these guys play, and these guys, there's some guys that are going to play at the next level, no doubt about it. And if they have success, how many of them actually stay around? But Brady Welsh's dad is the coach.
We don't get into that. We don't really.
Yeah,
It's not.
It's true.
You're all.
I'm involved in
you're all
junior
wrapped
hockey.
up in
I know
junior
that.
hockey. The rest
I
of us,
know,
we
but
just-
still, it's
We
true.
just try to ignore it.
Yeah, the rest of us wait till the roster comes out next year and see who left.
It's true. It's true. We were talking about Joe Pavelski. Joe Pavelski did the same thing. He won a state. Well, not the same thing. He won a state championship as a junior and said, "You know what? I have nothing more to prove."
Right. Well, yes, that was Steven's point. They had never won a state championship. Joe Pavelski was hands down the best player in the state of Wisconsin.
Yes, he
that
was.
year. Nobody else was even close. And it's like he was wasting. He would have been wasting his time to come back as a senior. I don't know that there is anybody that I have seen play this year that I can say that they'd be wasting their time to come back and play next year, because they have nothing more to learn at this level, or no improvement to make at this level. Joe Pavelski was a different kind of animal.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, Mason Appleton is playing in the NHL now, but look at Joe Pavelski over his career versus every other WIAA player you've
Guy's
seen.
done nothing but win.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Pavelski is on a different level than most of the players that come out of Wisconsin. He was in high school too. So it's not a perfect analogy, but yes, they could win and then leave. We don't know. We're going to focus on Saturday for now.
Yeah. Just throwing it out there for discussion.
But remember that the only reason for leaving might not be, I've got nothing left to prove. There might be something beyond that. So people could move on. They could.
Let's just drop it.
They could.
Let's just
drop it.
let's just focus on Saturday.
Yeah, that's a after season conversation.
Okay. Well, let's move on then.
Let's talk about it.
Make some picks.
We will.
Make
We
a picks.
should. And then we got to talk about a couple other things too.
Make a picks.
Picks. Okay. Girls game. No, let's start with the D2 boys game, which is
That will be the
9:30
first game on Saturday.
That'll be the first game at 9:30 in the
Fond du
morning.
Lac Springs, number 1 in the state, versus Northern Pines, number 2 in the state. Junior,
It's too-
what do you got? Sorry. Or,
I have Pines.
This should be a primetime game, that instead of 9 in the morning.
It should be, but
be like 7 o'clock at night.
you
on
can choose.
Saturday.
You can choose. Do you want a primetime game or do you want the game on TV? Because the primetime game will not be on TV.
No,
They have to be
the
more
TV
that-
stations have said you'll be done by 5 o'clock.
So
And to me, that's kind of sad because how many basketball games do you see at 7 and 9 at night?
well, I don't see any, but
Every year they have state tournament games.
I don't see-
at
make-
7 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
they-
You know
run-
what pays the bills at TV stations?
Money.
Advertising revenue.
Yes.
If they could sell advertising on the hockey games, they wouldn't have that rule that they have to be done by 5 o'clock.
It's
They
too
would
bad.
broadcast the whole tournament
Yeah.
if they could get people to pay
Yeah.
to put it on, which means that they get people to watch it. We were at the games. There weren't a whole lot of people watching it live in person, so there probably isn't a whole big market for people watching it on TV either.
That's their loss.
Yeah,
you're
Yeah.
going to make more money off the local news than what you're going to make off the WIA hockey.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
it's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah.
So I picked Pines. Everybody else make a pick.
Do you have a score on that game?
6-4.
Holy moly!
Holy mo!
What a goalie! All right.
I get where you're coming from, though.
All right. Burglar?
No, you got to go that way.
Okay,
Clockwise.
I'm Jay.
I'll defer to you.
You'll defer to me? What are we playing here? Sheephead?
You get 2 votes. You get your
I
vote
get
and
2
his
votes? All right. I like both teams, and
I do too.
Contrary to popular belief that I hate Northern Pines, I do not hate Northern Pines.
No,
vote. No, you
The
just hate
girls.
the girls.
No, I don't hate the girls. I have the ultimate respect for teams from this town that basically hockey is their livelihood. I mean, if you talk about Eagle River, the sport mentioned is hockey, and it has been for a long, long time, 50 plus years.
How many Sneddons and Mallets have you seen over the years?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean,
Well, plus you go up there, and in their lobby they have all these pictures
Yeah,
of all their
exactly.
men's teams and stuff behind, and every one of them's got a Snedden and a Millette on it.
Yeah, and I mean, when Junior and I were there, we talked to Tom Obradovich. I mean, he's a legend in Eagle River hockey, and he talked to us for quite a while, and he said, yeah, I've heard of you guys. I go on your site all the time. You guys do a great job. And I mean, for an Eagle River legend to tell us that, that's awesome. But besides that, Eagle River's got the dome. They got the tradition. Fondy Springs, I mean, this year has a great team. Eagle River has a great team. Let's toss our coin.
What the hell does
What
this
are-
dome have to do with
Well,
whether they're going to win this
No,
game or
well, I'm
not?
just telling you.
He's just trying to string
Yeah.
it out.
No,
so
I
much.
That's right.
know,
I'm trying to-
but
I'm trying to-
why even mention
I'm
that?
stalling.
He's
stalling.
stalling so
I'm
that we won't
stalling.
notice that he hasn't
So
made a pick yet.
it's going to be, here's what's going to happen. It's going to be 10 overtime periods. It's going to be a tie, and they're just going to say, we're going to declare you co-champions.
No, they're going to go past.
They've
They're going
done
to
that. They did
they're
that
gonna
in
go,
Michigan.
They're going to go past. They're going to go past that. They're going to go past 5 o'clock at night, and really upset the local stations.
Because then they got 2 more games.
I mean, this is going to be a good game. You got Rising in goal for Springs, a freshman. You got Brett Wilkins, a senior for Pines. You got all the talent on the ice. It's going to be a 1-goal game. I'm going to give it to Springs.
How do you follow that up?
It's all yours,
It's
man.
your turn.
No, it's
How
up
do
to
you?
you.
His counted for 2 for me.
going for 2?
We're going.
Oh.
No. I'll go ahead and go on my own. I don't need your help. Jesus. This is my first time seeing both these teams this year, and I think that Pines isn't as fast as that top line is for Springs, but Pines always seem to be in the right spot at the right time. This is gonna to me. This is gonna be a 1-goal game. It's gonna be like a 3-2 game.
It's tough to pick a winner.
It's
in
tough.
This game
It's absolutely tough to pick a winner.
It could go either way. It literally could.
But I'm gonna pick one, whether you want me to or not.
Go for it.
I honestly think that in this game, it's gonna be Pines, and the reason why I say Pines because Brett Wilkins is a senior. Seniors play a little bit different.
And sometimes they step up more than a freshman might. You're saying?
No, freshmen are freshmen.
Yeah, but but that's good rationale.
But this,
like
we talked a little bit about Fondy Springs was there 2 years ago. This kid wasn't even on the roster 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick Pines, but it's going to be a very close game.
Half a goal.
If you could do that, yeah.
Yeah, the spread is Springs plus.
See, now I regret not going before MJ because you just stole my prediction.
Did I? I'm thinking like you now. Isn't that just terrible?
I was thinking now that MJ picked Pines, I wanted to switch.
But we'll go back to what Bill was saying about
Make sure you write this down.
but Springs leaning so much on those 2 players, and so defensive minded coach. Well, or like McCurse was
Mike
saying
McCursey.
Shut down that first line. Mm-hmm. So Pines can is focus on shutting down Welsh and Pickard, but then that's not really Pines' game, shutting people down defensively. Pines' game is like outscoring you, and hoping that Brett Wilkins can keep the puck out of the net while they're trying to outscore you. And in that regard, I think both these teams have a lot of offense. Springs may be a little stronger defensively, but I think Pines is a little deeper offensively. So those 2 balance out, and I really think it comes down to, one team's got a freshman in the net, the other team's got a senior who's playing with his buddies that he's had success with since they were youths. And this is their shot. He's not going to be the one to let them down. He is going to do everything in his power to keep that puck out of the net. And the only thing I can see standing in their way is like my grandson Brett, when he's watching games, he says they try too hard to make the pretty goal. Pines does.
Oh yeah.
They make a lot of passes to set up these one-timers from the backside into the open net. They work hard for the pretty. They don't get a lot of the dirty goals where you just throw the puck at the net and hope something happens. And
Pretty not
tips and
gritty,
rebounds.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I think on the power play that's fine, but I think if you're talking even strength, you're wasting some opportunities.
That was one of the reasons they let Mosini hang around for so long in that final game, is they kept trying to work for these pretty goals, and they hit 2 off of crossbars in the first and second period. They had a beautiful setup in the third period that rung off a pipe. Mm-hmm. They were making those but making those pretty plays, but actually missing the actual shot. So if that's a risk that their style of play does, but I think that I think the difference is the senior goaltender versus the freshman goaltender, and the senior just, like I said, just wanting it a little bit more.
Yeah, and
I want to clarify, I did not say that Springs relies on Welsh and Pickert. I said that Welsh and Pickert play at another level.
Yeah.
To say that they rely on them would make them sound like
well,
one of those
that is a total
1993 Brookfield
Okay,
team.
so if you're listening to this now, rewind your tape and go back to the beginning where he says that Springs relied too much on Pickert and Welsh today. I think you'll probably hear that.
Well, here's one thing that I want to add as an addendum to what Burglar said about the senior goalie versus the freshman goalie. I think Wilkins is kind of underrated. He's a damn good goalie, and he doesn't get a lot of love from the state. It might have something to do with it.
He was one of our Dobbin Spec finalists last year. Fairly late into January this year, he was below 90% save percentage. When we saw them play Spash, I understood why. It's because, as Burglar said, Pines is going to try to outscore you and hope that Wilkins keeps the puck out of the net on the other end, and they will give the other team chances, very, very good looks at the net, the kind of looks you don't want to give another team, regardless of who your goalie is. And I think part of it is because they know they have a strong goalie back there to stop it. So that's why I predicted 6-4.
Yeah, and I mean, he's kind of come along where he didn't really have the starring role, but now he does. And I think he'll do a good job. I just got Springs just one goal better. I'm gonna say 2-1.
Well, I think the over/under
It's probably
on
more
this
than
game
3.
is 8.
8.
Yeah.
So 10 wins.
If this game was 2-1, regardless of who wins, I think that would be the most shocking part about it.
But I mean, it wouldn't be a huge shock to me if that happened, because both goalies could play extremely well, and it could be a 2-1 game. But Junior, as you said, it could be a 6-4 game.
I think both of these teams, the offenses are better than the defenses.
Yeah. But I mean, either way, it's going to be a very good game. Number 1 and number 2 in the state.
And we've mentioned their top defensemen for Noah Pickert on Springs and Riley McGee on Pines. They're currently leading the tournament in points. They're both tied at 4. None of the forwards are in charge. The defensemen are. So
Well,
starts from the back.
They line up on the blue line and go from there.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the girls. Who you got? I'll start since I started last time. I have Fox Cities. They were my pick before the tournament. I have seen both them and the Lynx play against a common opponent, being the Central Wisconsin Storm. They both won their games against the Storm, but in those games, I don't feel like the Lynx outplayed the Storm. They got the better bounces that day. It was a pretty even game. They had a couple breaks, and their goalie played well. Fox Cities, in the game I watched, outplayed the Storm in pretty much every facet of the game. It wasn't like a blowout or anything, but they outplayed them. And it just, based on that I've seen, I think Fox Cities should be able to take this one, probably 2-goal margin, 4-2. The losing teams seem to like to score 2 goals so far in the tournament, so we'll stick with that.
Let's go back to the Metro Lynx a second. Who was the girl that got all the press this week?
Sydney Ratz.
Sydney
Sydney
Ratz.
Ratz. How many points did she have today?
I don't think she had any.
I don't think she had any. Rachel Mirwald and Kaya Bice each had 2 points. Josie Dragoo, Ava Jambor, and Grace Pinnell each had a point. That's all the farther our leaderboard goes. They might have had more players with 1. I don't know that she had any. She did really well in their game against the Storm that I saw them play.
But today she was held to nothing.
Well,
Didn't
so
get anything.
does that mean that they were focusing a little bit more on her? Because let's face it, when your forwards are coming down, you could pay a little more attention to the one that needs to be a little more attention paid to and can take them off their game a little bit.
But it was the other ones. It was the other ones beating them. It wasn't her.
But
Okay.
that
But
means that the other players stepped up a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
So that, to me, that means that they're a little bit deeper than maybe we think they are. It's not just Rass. I mean, it's Meerwald or it's Bunnell. Bunnell had 1 goal today or 2.
She's a good player.
She's a nice little player. She's a defenseman, but she knows how to go on offense. So I mean, this is going to be another great game.
This is. But I'm not taking anything away from Sydney Rass. She just didn't get anything today.
No, I mean,
it was the others that were beating.
You
Well, it
can't.
sounds like you were.
No, I'm just saying she didn't have any points today.
No, I mean, there's games where.
But you
even
look at it.
the-
But you look at it. She had a backup today.
The best players can be blanked on any given day.
I agree.
It happens, and she might come back tomorrow and score 5 points.
But
You don't know.
her supporting cast behind her backed her up.
Did the job
Yes.
exactly. 5-2 win.
So who you got?
I'm going to take Fox Cities.
Curse is not inviting you over for dinner anymore.
He never does in the first place.
Okay, Curse, I want to come over for dinner, so I'm gonna.
Curse, if you guys win, I owe you a beer. But I just think it's a tall task for the Metrolynx against Fox Cities. I think they're both very nice teams, but Fox Cities seems to have that that one player who can play at a whole different level.
The way girls.
Who's that?
The player of the year.
Maddie Jablonski.
How could you forget about Maddie Jablonski?
Don't
Well,
let her alone
because
in
she
the
only had
slot.
1 goal today. I mean,
Well, they
And
were
an
keeping an
assist.
eye on her.
The way girls hockey has gone this season, I mean, it could I picked the Stars. It could go either way.
Yeah,
I mean,
both of these games.
so many teams played twice and split this year. Just a ridiculous number of teams played twice and split, and in not just we played 2 close games fashion, dramatic splits. You'd beat a team 5-1 and then lose to them 3-0 the next time you played. Just all over the state on the girls' side, games like that. So it could go either way. I mean, I'm expecting a good close game, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of these teams won 5-1, 6-1. I mean, if it just got away from them. So I got Stars. He's got Stars. Who's he got?
I defer. Very good.
I'll go with the Metro Lynx, and I'll tell you why.
I think this broadcast is done. We don't want to hear why.
No, go.
I've only been recording for 57 minutes.
I've seen them play before this season up north, and when I watched them there, I thought that the best players on the Metro Lynx were their defenders. They call them. They don't call them defensemen. They're defenders.
Defense women,
No, defenders.
defenders.
That's the
Okay,
official
gotcha.
term.
So who are we talking about in particular here?
The
Josie
people who
Grace
play defense.
Bunnell, Sam Olander, Jenna Culp.
I thought that was the strength of their team, and there were times when I watched today when Maddie Jablonski would come down and I'd say, oh, she's coming, that's Grace, but no, Jablonski's not going to get around her. It just doesn't happen. The defenders on the Metro Lynx are good. I think they can keep I think they can shut down or slow down that offensive firepower that the Fox Cities has, and they have enough offensive power on their own that what's her name will get off the schneid and put a couple of goals on tomorrow, and I think I'm
When?
Saturday. Yes, I'm going Metro Lynx.
Metro Lynx.
But the one thing you also got to think about is Fox Cities.
Don't whisper.
Fox Cities was in this position last year. This is Metro Link's first trip to state.
Yeah.
I mean,
So Fox Cities is going to be bored. like we've already done.
Like we were bored with Bill's explanation. Tough crowd.
Hard.
All right.
Well, I just want to say to the people out there listening, you've just lost 1 hour of your life you're never going to get back listening to this podcast.
Well, hopefully they were doing
Make a
something
pick.
else at the same time.
Trasher didn't make a pick. We're not turning this off until he does.
You're not gonna.
I'll follow him to his room.
Chasing him with the microphone.
Comment? You got a comment on this? All right. Metro Lynx, Fox City Stars. Fox City Stars won the tournament last year. They're hungry to defend. But let's talk about facts.
Is that a thing?
It is.
Hungry to defend?
Hungry like the wolf. Hungry like
to
the
defend.
Stars. Hungry like the Fox City Stars. They're
What does
both
the fox say?
fox and a wolf. Nah? Alright. Both teams pretty equal on offense scoring wise. 131, 138 according to the stat sheets that we have here. Defensively, I agree with Burglar. I think the Metro Lynx maybe are a little stronger and a little deeper on defense, because I looked through here and I thought I saw that the Lynx had like 7 defenders that have played big minutes, throughout the year. So I don't know how that all fits in, because as Junior can attest to, we don't really know how many people on this 35-man roster are actually on the bench. So give the Lynx just this little tiny edge on defense. Then you look at goalie. Through the year, the Metro Lynx, the goaltenders, McCursey and Armstrong, I think were the best 2 goaltenders in this tournament as far as their season stats, and you got to count that. Saborski for Fox City's freshman, she played a great game today.
Man, he's making a long way to get to this pitch.
Yeah,
I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, you guys are fine. You'll be fine, because we'll just drink beer after this. And I think Cam McCursey is going to play goalie tomorrow. She's a sophomore. She's had a great season. All of this rolled up. I'll throw out the dice, and I'm going to say Lynx 3-2 in overtime.
That's 2 apiece. All right. We have not had a repeat girls champion since the St. Croix Valley Fusion won in 2010 and 2011. So,
Yeah. So
There's a chance it could happen this year.
No.
yes,
I mean, it
that's,
could.
I wouldn't have brought it up if one of these teams didn't have the chance of repeating.
All right, well, one other thing we have to get at between the Madison Metro Lynx and the Fox City Stars, we would be remiss if we didn't make note that the Metro Lynx have 4 assistant coaches. Rich Felt, Catherine Anderson, Carolyn Carls, Chris Anderson, and what's Jeff Fox got? Nothing but Chris McGurk again.
So who gets the edge then on the bench?
Poor Chris.
Obviously the Lynx.
all those coaches. I mean,
Obviously
they
the
probably
Lynx.
have specialized coaches for every category.
Well,
and
yeah.
Fox, he's got a ref.
He's got a ref as his assistant coach. I mean, come on.
Yeah, what does he do? Explain to them the rules. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't do that.
Was that really offsides coach? Yeah, it was.
So let's back up one game. Let's look at
You got any practice in being an attorney?
The Hudson bench.
We did that last week.
Yeah, we did.
We made fun of McGurk last week.
Yes,
So.
this is our weekly make fun of Chris McGurk segment.
Yeah, well, apparently the honors given to Karen by Dietz didn't help Hudson any today, so maybe that actually we can throw that out the window. We don't know.
Why are you not letting us make fun of Chris McGurk?
Come on,
Well,
it's a tradition.
Gurk, you're a great guy. We love you, but you're our 2nd favorite official and maybe like our 3rd favorite assistant coach. Guys, what are we going to be doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 4:30, we'll be having our award ceremony at the Alliant Energy Center Expo Hall,
Upstairs.
somewhere on the 2nd floor. There'll be signs, I hope.
Maybe. At 4:30, yes.
Yes, we'll be
And
doing
we're
our
gonna do-
awards.
yes. What are we going to be doing?
Handing out awards.
What kind of awards?
Joe Pavelski, Davis Trubisky, Kirk Dobbinspec,
On the boys' side,
Adam Burish. On the girls' side, Janelle Sergi. I still want to call her Janelle Zog.
Janelle
Molly
Zog, Sergi,
Molly Engstrom,
Jesse Vetter.
Jesse
Jesse
Vetter,
Vetter, and Rachel Bible.
Rachel Kenyon.
Rachel Bible Kenyon. So that'll be at 4:30 roughly at Exhibition Hall. If you're in earsight of earshot of this podcast, feel free to come. Stop by. I mean, we're welcoming you. There's no charge. It'll be a great award ceremony for some great players. Well-deserved honors for what they've done this year. And right after that will be the boys' banquet, Player of the Year, and the state tournament banquet. I think that's mostly for just people that are involved in it. But our banquet at 4:30, you're welcome to join.
Not a banquet.
Our
Award ceremony.
We're not giving any food.
Sorry, award.
Yeah, there will be no food.
Well, yeah, maybe there will be like some chips or something, but
There's some leftover pizza from today.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
like
bring,
6 pieces.
Yeah, we'll bring some stuff over. You guys can chow on that at your own risk. But 4:30 tomorrow, Exhibition Hall. It's kind of
Unrefrigerated leftover pizza.
right across the street.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. We'll leave it out, especially. If
No,
you
it's in
don't.
the fridge now.
Okay.
Just sat out the.
No, but
It's sweet
I
for a
guess
while.
I guess the bottom line is everybody's welcome to attend. There's no charge, and it'll be a nice ceremony to award some of the top players of the year.
Kirk Dobbinspec has informed me that he will be there to
Awesome.
hand out
That is a great honor.
his award. So the winner of that will be able to get their picture taken with the person that their award is named after.
Badger standout from a few years back. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that the WHCA continues just doing one all-state team and one player of the year, because if they split to two, then we got to find 4 more names for 4 more awards. I don't want to do that.
Our 5 finalists, each and every one of them, are very deserving of the award.
Yes.
They really are. They're voted on. I can tell you the Adam Burish Award is one that has to have a story written up with it, and Adam goes through them. And
He didn't just go through them. He actually contacted several of the coaches for follow-up information on the nomination they submitted.
So he did his homework.
Yeah, he did.
Well, yeah.
I was worried that he did not get my email with the list of nominees in it because it was getting kind of close to the deadline. I'm like, did you get this? I was just about ready to call Jake and Davis over in Hudson, like, you guys have any contact information for Adam? Because he hasn't responded to my email yet. But then he responded and he told me that he spoke to some of the coaches and got a little more information.
I was relieved to see on the Chicago Blackhawks broadcast, since I watch a lot of their games. Adam Burish had a seat in their studio between periods and stuff, but then Patrick Sharp retired, and
he's real pretty.
Adam
According
Burish,
to Jeremy Roenick, yeah.
Adam Burish is a good-looking guy,
Yes, he is.
but he's no Patrick Sharp.
No.
No, I mean Patrick Sharp. He's like Henrik Lundqvist, good looking.
That's
He's got the hair. He's got it's like, and so all of a sudden I start seeing him there, and I thought, Burish is out of a job now, but apparently like he does the weekends or something.
It's just a temporary thing.
Well, no, they alternate.
No, he's still with them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he still has a job. So I was glad to see that.
Yeah.
The one thing about Adam Burish is the Chicago Blackhawks honored him with that one more shift thing they've been doing.
Yep.
And he got to go out there and do that. And, he was on that 2010 Stanley Cup winning team. That's a guy who was a role player. He wasn't a big superstar like, Kane and Taves and Duncan Keith and Seabrook and all those. He was a guy with a role to play. And he played it well. And he was able to stay there and get his Stanley Cup with the Blackhawks. And, let's be honest, he moved on and made some pretty good money.
Yeah, but he was well respected by the Blackhawks, who honored him by doing that, and I think that says a lot about him and a lot about his character, and I think that he is a great ambassador for the award that
Yeah,
we present
it's
to
like-
these
Without a doubt.
players.
Like MJ said, he had a role to play, and they could count on him to play that role every time they needed him.
Yeah, this is what we need you
Yes,
to do.
this is what we
and
need you to do, and he did it
I'll
consistently.
do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he once said that he would block pucks with his face if it would keep him on the ice.
Yeah,
You know,
He's
this
that guy.
And this, you know, I got the chance to listen to him give a speech before, and you know, he said every time that he had to move up to the next level, he had to outwork people to get a job. You know, and that's you know, when you get to that level, you got to do that, and he was able to. I mean, he wasn't the most gifted guy, but you know, he was able to play in the NHL for a number of years and make
Yeah.
good amount of money and living a pretty good life afterwards.
I believe I'm the only person sitting at the table who knows who actually won that award.
yeah, probably.
Dell's not here with us today. Dell seems to have the plague. Dell might have the coronavirus.
Oh.
Dell looks rough today.
Oh, Dell, yeah. Dell, we chased him home or out of the suite anyway.
Get out!
Yeah,
Yeah, we hope he's okay.
he was there long enough that by tomorrow we could all have it.
Yeah, we're gonna be.
Or Saturday, I'm sorry. By Saturday
we're gonna
we
be
could all have it.
No shows on Saturday. The way things are going.
Sweet will be all locked up. You'll know why, because Dell.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time to sign us out there, MJ.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Fine podcasts are sold.
Or refined podcasts are sold.
But
No
we-
need to do
what
that this
we,
week.
We,
Okay.
we would be, as Burglar said, remiss to not mention that we are sitting in the lobby of the Wyndham Gardens.
Oh, the Wyndham Garden in Fitchburg.
Yes, in Fitchburg,
yeah.
in wonderful Fitchburg. Population
exits.
25,000.
2 exits from the Alliant Energy Center.
Fish Hatchery Road and
Yeah.
Cahill Boulevard. Or
How long
whatever
it
the
takes
heck
to
this
get
is
from here to
called.
the
10 minutes.
Coliseum? That's it.
Maybe.
Yeah, and
If that.
And this is
And that's from parking lot to parking lot.
yeah, great facility. They're very, very good to us, and we're happy that we're here. And we're sitting in the lobby right now doing this. So we've had a great time, and look forward to doing it for many more years.
Okay. Well, guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow
Tomorrow.
for 2 Division I boys hockey games,
And then on Saturday,
and then on Saturday for Championship Saturday, we'll have 3 games. We'll cover those as well.
well, we'll be here tomorrow night.
Yes, we will.
All right.
All right.
So feeding you lines.
Okay. So for Trasher,
Beer.
Yeah, feed
Both.
us beer.
Berg gentlemen, I'm Mike Hammett. Hopefully you enjoy this.
Or not.
And we'll catch you tomorrow on This Week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey, the state tournament edition.